I want to start by recognizing that we will not have the full 2 hours to debate this motion, but I think it's an important motion, and there will be time for all parties to address this, and I hope there's a willingness to vote on this motion today. Madam Speaker, across the world, and particularly here in North America, the development of artificial intelligence, or AI, data centers is occurring rapidly, and largely it's unregulated. It is very clear that AI is transforming our economy and our society, and it is important to ensure that we put the proper guardrails up so AI serves us rather than making us servants to it. This is a major preoccupation for Canadians. Polling has found that Canadians are worried about misinformation, job losses, and the amount of energy being used for AI data centers. An Angus Reid poll released on June 1st showed that 68% of Canadians would oppose a large AI data center near their home. The main concerns raised were the impacts on energy, environmental sustainability, and on neighbourhoods and surrounding communities. This is a growing problem. New research from York University shows a dramatic shift in data centers being built in Canada. The new ones require 10 times the capacity of what's come before. That means more land, more water, and more energy. AI data centers already consume enormous amounts of energy. According to the UN, data centers consumed an estimated 448 terawatt hours of electricity in 2025. If data centers were a nation, they would be the world's 11th largest electricity consumer. And I think we also need to look at who benefits from these hyperscale AI data centers, Madam Speaker. While local communities may see a small benefit during construction, the majority, if not all, benefits during regular operations are likely to go to the American tech billionaires at companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, xAI, Anthropic, Oracle, Amazon, Meta, and Google. This massive, rapid AI build-out is privatizing profits while socializing all of the issues that come with this AI boom, from mental health issues and AI psychosis from the use of AI chatbots to data surveillance and AI warfare. And Mr. Speaker, this issue is not just theoretical here in New Brunswick. A hyperscale AI data center is being proposed right now in the Laurenville neighbourhood of St. John. It's being proposed by Beacon Data Centers and will be partially powered by a new gas plant, which will also be built on the site in Laurenville. The gas plant will be owned by VoltaGrid, an American-based company that is run by Trump supporter Nathan O. And it's being done with the support of the Holt government on land owned by the Regional Development Corporation. I think it's important to stop for a minute and highlight who VoltaGrid's CEO, Nathan O, is. In his own words, Trump gets up there and says, drill, baby, drill, and data center. Those are literally the intersection of our entire existence. He has contributed over $100,000 to the Republican National Committee and traveled to Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort for meetings. American fossil fuel giant Halliburton is a major investor in VoltaGrid in an attempt to drum up more demand for fracked gas as the market has stagnated due to increasing use of renewables. This plant, planned for Laurenville, would emit 750,000 tons of carbon dioxide every year, making it the third largest emitter of carbon dioxide in the province after the Irving Refinery and the Belledune coal power plant. This type of project completely ignores the warming climate that is causing wildfires, droughts, more intense storms, more frequent natural disasters, and putting New Brunswickers at risk. In addition to this 190 megawatt gas plant, the data center would require an additional 200 megawatts of capacity from the NB power grid, increasing load demand on an already strained system. Just to give you an idea of how much energy that is, a recent report by researchers at York University found that a 100 megawatt data center would have the equivalent electricity consumption of between 40,000 and 64,000 Canadian households. The Laurenville data center will require more energy than all the households in Greater St. John combined. There is a precedent for the province placing a moratorium on new energy-hogging data centres. In March 2022, the Higgs government put a moratorium on NB Power servicing new cryptocurrency facilities after it received several large-scale requests for electricity supply. In November 2023, this moratorium was extended to a legal ban which remains in place today. At the time, Energy Minister Mike Holland said that the cryptocurrency sector is an area that has a significant draw or demand as it relates to electricity. We can't compromise the existing rate base, so we need to make sure that we have capacity. A 70-megawatt cryptocurrency facility in Grand Falls prompted this moratorium. That's only a third of the energy that from NB Power that the Lorneville AI data center would require. While we don't have a clear picture, as NB Power's got a secret queue of projects waiting in the wings, we have learned that a data center is being considered for Beldoon. Where else might data centers be built in New Brunswick? Despite the potential for a runaway train of new electrical load requests, the Minister of Energy brushed off my request to put a plan in place that takes residents, industry, our environment, and power rates into account before developing any new AI data centers when I asked in question period a couple of months ago. We have seen other jurisdictions create laws to get ahead of this problem. Quebec was one of the first last year when it created strict oversights for new grid connections, with the Minister of Economy, Innovation and Energy needing to authorize any new load of 5 megawatts or more. The bill also gave the Minister the power to put conditions on new connections related to the economic benefits and social and environmental impacts of the use of the electric power. Earlier this year, Maine's legislature passed an act to establish the Maine Data Center Coordination Council and place a temporary limitation on certain data centers. This law would have imposed an immediate temporary 18-month moratorium on the development of large data centers. On voit qu'il y a des exemples des municipalités et des provinces qui reconnaissent qu'il y a beaucoup de problèmes avec ces centres de données dans leur communauté. En Ontario, Hamilton, la municipalité de Hamilton a rejeté un centre de données pour l'IA après que les résidents ont communiqué leurs préoccupations avec les impacts de l'intelligence artificielle sur l'environnement, sur leur emploi, sur la créativité, et ont partagé leur peur de la pollution de l'air et les impacts sur leur santé. Et la semaine passée, le Premier ministre de Manitoba, Wab Kinew, a annoncé que son gouvernement allait dire non à un centre de données de 500 mégawatts qui a été proposé pour le sud de Winnipeg à cause des impacts sur l'environnement et sur la communauté. Et son gouvernement avait le pouvoir de faire ça. They had the legal ability to prioritize new electrical load requests. Premier Kinew said that hyperscale data centers don't appear to be in the best interest of Manitobans. I'd argue they are also not in the best interest of New Brunswickers. The proposed Lorneville data center will be built in an area that has old growth forest. According to Ben Phillips, who runs the Dendrochronology Lab at Mount Allison, the forest at Lorneville is likely the third oldest forest in the province and includes trees that are over 400 years old. The environmental impact assessment for the project shows that 3.5 hectares of old growth forest would be permanently lost during construction. On top of this, roughly 27 hectares of wetlands would be cleared and infilled to create space for the data center. A peat bog along the northern border of the project area was found to have high function ratings for phosphorus retention and wildlife habitat. And there's a salt marsh at the mouth of Marsh Brook, designated as a provincially significant wetland. The clearing and infilling of land for this project presents a risk to residential wells, especially older ones, as identified in the environmental impact assessment submission. There are many concerns being raised as communities across North America resist data centers as they fight back. And I've mentioned the concerns for water. There's concerns for the price of electricity and the amount of electricity that they use. There's also the concern of the noise for the people who live near these data centers. There's a loud hum that comes from them, and the people who live near them have trouble living there. Some of them sleep in their basements, and they can't sell their homes because no one wants to move in near a data center. And of course, we need data sovereignty and to keep New Brunswickers' personal data, including health records, here in Canada, and protected from the American tech billionaires. But we only need a very, very small fraction of the amount of space that these hyperscale AI data centers require. These are on an entirely different scale. The data centers are being used by these companies who are in a race to I guess to try to find ways, for one thing, to make money off of this technology. And they're training AI models, using our data, using the whole of knowledge and creativity known to humankind without paying royalties, without contributions back. And it is very concerning what's happening in terms of the corporations benefiting so much, but people such as in Laurenville having to bear the risks. This AI build-out that will disproportionately benefit the American tech billionaires is not inevitable. Mr. Speaker, we don't have to move this fast. It's not too late to do the right thing. We are being sold this idea by the tech billionaires, by certain leaders, that this has to happen in a certain way, it has to happen as fast as possible, and that's simply not the case. We can make decisions about what's best for New Brunswickers. We can still protect communities like Laurenville and Baldoon and wherever else data centers may be planned now or in the future. And we can still make wise decisions regarding energy use. La Première ministre et son gouvernement, elle dit qu'elle est fière d'avoir sauvé 10% sur les factures d'énergie pour les Néo-Brunswickois et Néo-Brunswickoises, mais on va voir que c'est effacé par les impacts de les centres de données. Recklessly building out data centers will undo any relief and increase electricity rates. We need to minimize the risks. We need a thoughtful, human-centered approach to technology rather than going all in on AI by building hyperscale AI data centers. And I know it may be hard to resist as Prime Minister Carney and his government seem to be going all in, and I would argue, having looked at what they've brought forward this past week, that they are throwing caution to the wind in some senses when it comes to AI chatbots. I don't think they're taking that risk seriously enough, and I think that they are not considering the impacts on the lives of people in communities like Laurenville, where they want to build these hyperscale data centers. We owe the people of Laurenville and the people of New Brunswick better than this. We have to stop and pause and ask, should we even build hyperscale data centers? Should we build those in New Brunswick? If so, how big and where? How should they be powered? We should definitely not be building a 200 megawatt gas-powered, 190 megawatt gas-powered plant that is going to harm the people who live near there, is going to cause air pollution, and will negatively impact all New Brunswickers because it continues to contribute to the climate crisis. New Brunswickers want a say. This has been pushed on New Brunswickers. We need to stop and bring in a moratorium and have this discussion. Listen to New Brunswickers. So Mr. Speaker, thank you for the time to speak to my motion. I would encourage the government members and members of the official opposition to vote in favor of this motion, for us to vote on this motion today, and for for the government to bring in a moratorium, press pause, and actually make a plan in order to protect the people of Lorneville, of Baldoon, and elsewhere, their health, their water, and their air. Merci encore pour l'opportunité de